Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Nerds with Badges. It is about a quarter after 9 p.m. over here in California. I just got to work. I found out I'm working at a different location tonight, which is kind of good. Um, Looks like I'm pretty much by myself tonight. Don't know if maintenance is working tonight, which is good for me. uh, anyway, just will be more quieter and peaceful. So I had to adjust the lighting on my Chromebook. I don't know. I can't really get the lighting to get much better in this room. I don't know. Maybe I can. Hold on. Okay, that is a lot better. Now I look like I'm not. I don't look like I'm having a top secret meeting somewhere. So I got in. I was basically wasting some time with my Steam Deck. I'm having some issues with my Steam Deck. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's trying to do an update, and man, I mean, it just seems like every time I turn this damn thing on, it's always an update. I mean, it's just like updates and proton files. I tell you, man, and now the touch screen isn't working. I don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, I had trouble with my other Steam Deck, but this thing, I don't know. It just seems like it's always something. Yeah. And the way the industry, the way the technology is, you would think we just kind of sometimes I think we're going backwards. And now I hear they're talking about getting rid of digital. I mean, I'm not digital, but physical media maybe going away. Um, so anyway, I gotta have my coffee so my brain can come online fully. So anyway, my name is Sergio Willis, and I have been doing a series of videos, so like a podcast called Nerds with Badges, and I'm doing I'm doing a Kickstarter campaign. So this is day 26, I believe, day 26, and we have like 4 days left, four or 5 days left in the campaign. So my Nerds with Badges platform was really created by me to just create a platform where the nerds with badges, whether you're security guards like I am, or police officers, or military background, but just other nerds with badges, people who are into nerd culture, which is video games, comic books, um, superhero stuff, nerd stuff, comic book conventions, Godzilla and King Kong, Planet of the Apes marathons. I mean, cosplaying, all those things. So my thing is, um, I used to I used to draw and write comic books for myself a long time ago, and then I started writing short stories that led to me getting some poetry published, some short stories published in a local newspaper. There was a magazine that came out here in LA years ago called SBC, which was called Stanley Bennett Clay, and he actually was the first person to actually pay me to publish. So big ups to him for that. He published like 6 of my stories in his magazine, and it is my dream to one day turn those short stories into films, into full length or short films. So it was a real blessing because when I first came to Los Angeles, he told me, your stuff isn't up to the quality. And years later, I approached him with a story, and he liked it, and it just led to him publishing more and more of my stuff, and that was really good for me. So I started getting into filmmaking years ago. Back in like 2008, I started working on a web series called Sons of Legend, and Sons of Legend led to 3 other web series, and now I've come full circle. I'm getting back into comic books again, which is where all this started. Because when I used to read comic books when I was a kid. I used to read all these Archie, Richie Rich, Casper, Wendy the Friendly Witch, and Marvel, DC, and then sneaking into arcades, cutting classes, And I got into Atari, television, ColecoVision, TurboGrafx, Nintendo, Sega, all these different companies coming out with video games. So all this stuff has been with me in my life. So I think it makes sense that I would eventually want to get into the industry. So um, Marvel and DC, of course, are like the ones that you know that get most of my money. I think it's safe to say. But I do buy a fair amount of indie comics as well. It was Image. I read, I sometimes I'll pick up Spawn, and Savage Dragon was an interesting comic. Right now, I have my backlog of comic books to read is just ridiculous. But I'm trying to keep up with what's going on with X-Men. Sort of trying to keep up with what's going on with Black Panther. I've been reading Superman's Lost title. Um, so I been a fan of these genres, these mediums, comics, video games since I was a kid, and it really helped me to get through life in a lot of ways. So I started writing and drawing my own little comic books, and then I started focusing more on writing and filmmaking. And now I find myself getting more back into comics, and I would like to do video games at some point as well. So right now, I'm doing a cartoon. I'm relaunching, rebooting my web series, and um, right now a lot of my focus is going on my comic book, which is called DragonManx. So I've been doing videos to promote the DragonManx comic book Kickstarter campaign, really, because I started when I started on the comic book. I guess I didn't really know much about the business side of it, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning a lot about it because you don't just write a book and then you just give it, you just sell it. It's more to it than that. And when you're doing comic books, it's a lot of different layers. You got the person that pencils it, you got a person that inks it, you got people that color it, you got the letterers, and of course you got the writers or the writer. And in some cases, you have people that do all of that stuff, and God bless you, because I mean, I don't know how Charles M. Schultz, I think Charlie Brown. I don't know how he did. He did. I know he was working on a lot of his stuff by himself back in the day, which is incredible. Because now we have computer technology that a lot of things make you can literally produce your own comic book and cartoon and do all these things yourself now. But the quality stuff is usually requires a large army of people. I don't know how many people work on just one episode of The Simpsons or Family Guy. You'd be surprised. When you see all the credits roll up, you get some idea, and it's even more with video games because when video games, it's just like they start putting mini games at the end of the credits. you know, it's the when you finish Smash Brothers, the credits just go on forever and ever. But I definitely want to get into that industry. But right now, my focus, we got like 4 more days to go for this Kickstarter campaign for the Dragon Manx comic book. And Dragon Manx he's a gay superhero, and he fights primarily like magical, supernatural, scary stuff. Just scary shit, just creepy things. Boogeyman, ghosts, vampires, demons, mad scientists, even aliens that have gone crazy and want to take over. But mostly it's the creepy stuff. He deals with the Satchwatches and the Wendigos and the Bride, the Candyman, all the scary stuff. I wanted to create something scary. And Dragon Manx, he does fight mostly monster type things, but he has an ex who he's kind of on, off, on again with, and is a vampire. The person is a vampire. So they kind of like sort of live together, sort of. And he's based in Detroit, Michigan. And Dragon Manx's boyfriend, or ex boyfriend, can't really leave Detroit. He's actually supposed to stay there because he is basically on probation. He's a vampire on probation because he's been deemed a flight risk or just dangerous. So the Vampire Nation is kind of like, so you got to stay here in Detroit, Michigan, and you got to like work on you learn how to use your powers and learn our ways. Otherwise, we're just gonna kill you. So Dragon Manx has been basically charged by the Vampire Nation to watch over his ex. So that's why they kind of have to deal with each other. So Dragon Manx is sort of like a slayer individual who fights to protect the balance of to keep magic from messing up the balance of life on the planet. So all these supernatural creatures, they tend to kind of what the let me put it this way: the vampires have their own hierarchy. Hierarchy, I don't know if I pronounce that word right. Then you have the werewolves, and then you even have like zombies and demons and angels and all these other supernatural beings have their own societies, and then they have their authority figures, and they all have an alliance with Dragon Manx because of who he is, because he's to protect the planet. And if anything happens to the planet, then they won't have nowhere to live, right? Makes sense. So Dragon Manx gets a certain amount of respect from these other beings that exist within the magical community because his lineage is to protect the balance and to protect the planet from supernatural, mostly magical type menaces. So my comic book that I'm working on deals with Dragon Manx having to come out of retirement because Dragon Manx sort of retired from being a superhero. To really consider himself a superhero, I don't think. He's just kind of retired from being a superhero because his powers don't really work that well. They just kind of like just kind of erratic, almost unreliable. And his powers are rebooting themselves, but he doesn't know that he's like doesn't know what's going on with his powers. He figures it out eventually, but his powers are going through a change because he's going to face a great threat, which is the ending of every these beings. Dragon Manx is a lineage of they're called the Alpha Omega Guardians, and they protect the balance of nature from magic, uh, corrupting everything, the balance. So Dragon Manx, he has to, he kind of feels like he can't really, it's kind of hard for him to really do that job because his powers cutting out on him. But he's destined to fight a great challenge and basically die, perish, sacrifice himself. That's what happens to every Alpha Omega Guardian. So uh, there's a definitely a beginning and an end to this story. This is really good being able to say that because having an ending in sight, just how I'm gonna get there. That's the thing. I know that there's an ending, and it just makes it easier. It gives me like a map, if you will. Mm. Okay, that I should have known that it was gonna be hot. I made me a cup of coffee before I came here, and I usually just bring a mug and make coffee, but I prepared my coffee in my Black Panther thermos because here at this particular location, trying to find water can be kind of difficult, and I don't want to be like going back and forth in here, especially at night. Here, it's just me. Um, so yeah, my Dragon Maze comic book I started in 2020, and I really wasn't doing much in the way of filmmaking, so I started focusing on my comic books characters, and the goal for the comics is $2,000, and we're like $100 away from this. Is incredible to me. I mean, I was worried. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. I was worried yesterday. I was like, okay, we're there. So, hmm, we're close. Sometimes Kickstarter or crowdfunding campaigns don't make their goal. And I don't know if you know how crowdfunding works, but you are given a certain amount of time. You set a deadline for when you will raise the funds for your project. So people give you money and they give you money, but if you don't make the amount of money that you're trying to make for your goal, your set amount, then you have to give everything back to everybody. So that's that you could say like your goal is like $5,000 for your to put out your movie. And I mean, of course, it's not just putting the movie out; it just goes into like the production, paying the actors, and the music and the special effects, locations, costumes, and all that stuff. It's part of making a movie. You don't just point the camera. And, a lot of people think that you just put the film out, and then you got to distribute it. Of course, you got to market it. You got to promote it. You got to put it in front of people that can actually that can that want to see it, or you put it in front of investors to maybe give you money because you put together, maybe you show them like a few scenes or something, or maybe a trailer or a teaser is a good way to get people interested, even if you don't have a full film or a comic book or a full album. Sometimes people will have examples to just kind of give people and and investors too, because the industry's changed. The industry has changed a lot. A lot of people are just kind of cutting out having to deal with companies, and the headache of, so they just fund their own stuff, and you can do that, but it's kind of hard sometimes to finance things, and you got to pay your bills and try to live. So uh, people that like your stuff are going to go see it anyway. So of course, it makes sense that you could get help to launch your project. If people get behind you, believe in what you're doing. So I think my battery's gonna run out on my Steam Deck. I've got to plug this thing in, but man, I don't know what is going on. I got to figure out why the touch screen isn't working. I tell you, man, it's just gadgets. I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'm gonna have to sit down and just, I was having trouble with my computer years ago, and I went on YouTube and I watched a little video, and I said, you know what? Instead of hiring somebody, I just work on this damn thing myself. I see this guy can do it. I can learn. So I've been really, really hesitant to try to dismantle this Steam Deck, but I don't know, maybe upgrading the RAM, if that's even possible. I guess it is possible to upgrade the RAM and the storage, and that they don't exactly make it the easiest thing in the world to do. And I really think that everything that comes out that's electronic, and that's just my opinion. I know some countries are starting to kind of like crack down on that, where you can't open up your device and just change the damn battery yourself when it breaks down. But I know that some companies, some countries are starting to kind of crack down on that, because companies kind of lock you in. If you can't repair a problem, then you have to spend money either on them, or you have to hire, some people to work on it. And then, if you could just unscrew it and just fix the problem or replace the part, of course, make money, but come on now. Yeah. But anyway, that's another topic for discussion and perhaps another video of Nerds with Badges. So I've been doing videos now since I went on vacation last month. I went to Florida to visit my family in Orlando, and I started doing videos. I think I did. I think I started doing the videos when I got to Orlando. I don't think I did any here in LA. I gotta go back. I don't remember, because everything is just going by so fast. I can't believe how fast September went by, and it's already gonna be Thanksgiving tomorrow. And I'm just, man, what happened? I blinked, and I can't believe I've done almost 30 of these videos, promoting my comic book, my DragonManx comic book. So yeah, I will get back to Nerds with Badges, the regular um what is the word I'm looking for in my brain? The regular format. I'm just like talking about pop cultural things, and maybe even having guests at some point. I may even bring in someone to co-host with me, because it's always good when you can dialogue back and forth and bounce ideas off each other. That's what I was doing in the beginning, but I didn't really find anyone that I wanted to keep on long term, or that, sometimes scheduling issues. As you know, security guards don't have the most, sometimes we don't have the most conventional schedules. Well, I mean, I don't. I work nights, and I don't even have a social life. I mean, that's part of why even even sometimes I've actually encountered people that didn't want to go out with me because of my schedule. So I mean, that happens. Because right now I don't even have time or energy or motivation to even date anything, anyone, anything. It's just my focus right now is just on all my projects, and I got a lot of work to do. Especially 2024 is going to be like my craziest year. It's all the video projects and comic books and getting into video game production, all these different things going on. So I'm just gonna be like, I don't know, I guess just um what is the word I'm looking for? Like uh eunuch or celibate or just a robot. I mean, just really just focusing on my goal and just keep my focus like uh just narrow because I had a lot of work to do. And probably going to be broke most of the time. Think about that because I could try to use the Kickstarter campaigns as well for my film projects too. But I've known from the get go that uh, you have to put money into these things yourself. You sit around waiting for people to give you money. You might be waiting a long time. And if I was waiting for people to give me money for my projects, I mean, I would still be waiting because people got bills, and I understand. And it's not always easy for me to even like back stuff that I want to help. I want to give, but I do. I do. If I see something that gets my attention, there's a lot of cool stuff on crowdfunding, honestly. And there's a lot of cool stuff that I definitely want to. When you do that, it helps you to make connections as well, establish connections with people. Because like, look, that's what happened with me and the whole comic book things. Because I backed I backed a comic book, and now that I'm working with the people that I backed. So you never know. You make friends, you make connections, and you build bridges. A lot of this stuff is talent definitely matters, perseverance matters, having knowledge of these things, but a lot of it is who you know. And ask me how I know. It is because when you have people that really believe in you, that will work with you, that are really cool with you, they'll work with you. And sometimes people will even give you like, they'll give you breaks, work with you, depending on your financial situation or whatever. So uh, it's good to to help other people, and you know what the saying is, pay it forward. Last week, my manager did my laundry for me. Well, she put my clothes in the dryer and then actually started the cycle. And it was just, it was a random act of kindness. But there's nothing wrong with helping out other people. And I wish more people would do that. You see somebody doing something that's really cool, or you see somebody that you can actually reach out and help that person. I mean, it was a small thing, and it really meant a lot to me. So, yeah, if I have it and I see somebody's project is interesting and I think it has potential, it's really just, I think it's interesting. I believe in it. I'm gonna, I'll back the project. Yeah, I'll do that. So there's a lot of stuff on Kickstarter and Indiegogo and GoFundMe. And this can be overwhelming. Sometimes it's just maybe focus on a few or one that you really like and just, but I want you to help me. I want you to give me some money as well. That's why I'm doing these videos. Definitely. So I'll be doing more videos as we get closer to the end game, the finish line. Be doing Zoom with some of the other people working with me and working on their comic book projects that are in this Kickstarter campaign as well, and the publisher. So I'm looking forward to that because I tried it before and I had a damn mic off, so I had to redo that. So we'll probably be doing that sometime this week or on the weekend. So until the next time, take care and enjoy. I don't know if you're into the holidays or whatever, but just enjoy the time off. I'm out of here.